One of the very first televisions made in Germany. It was built around 1930. This is what they used to call Volksempfänger. Those were cheap radios they built for people, well, who were not so well off, and to allow them to receive all sorts of radio programs. Quite collectible, actually. Of course, those radios were also used for propaganda purposes, but so yeah, this is the very first model of TV they built in Germany. I'd say it's about 50 centimeters high, just to give you an idea of the size. Okay. One on the right is a 4-tube receiver. I'm not sure if it's a heterodyne receiver. This is a time signal receiver. Apparently they call it an automatic cenotaph receiver. This is part of a transmitter from 1907. Was used to send Morse code. But this is one of those typical telephones, shoebox telephones that hung from the wall. Notice the dial. It's not a circular dial, it's a dial that just runs. Well, it does run in a circular path, but all the knobs are really on the right, you see? Very interesting. This is an internal telephone, I think. Oh yeah, okay, from 1915. Right. Okay. Okay, this is a telephone from 1905. And that one is from 1897. And it comes from the factory Friedrich Reiner in München. Wow. Look at this. That's what I call a proper telephone, isn't it? Look at the size of it. Impressive. Okay, so now this. Let me see, what does it say? Klappenschrank-telephone. Okay, so this is a phone built in 1905. And it's connected with little clappers, you see, down there. Don't ask me how it actually works, but I think it's just connected through with jacks. Although I don't know what the function of those little clappers is. Oh yeah, this is part of the mechanism used to dial a phone number automatically in the central, telephone central. It's from the 1920s. Very intricate mechanism. And this is a phone and microphone, well, headphones and microphone used by the ladies who transferred through a telephone call. You can see a depiction of that over there. Okay, and this is a plan of phone lines in the 1800s. Right. If you like telephones, wait till you get a load of this. Feast your eyes. You see any phone you like? I see a couple I like. Let's see if you can guess which one I like. I like that one over there. That's the one I like. And I also like this one. Very pretty telephone. Now, if you go more into the 70s like telephones, well, let's say for sentimental reasons, I would like this one, okay? Or maybe one of those older ones over there, see? Here they explain how a switch, an automatic switchboard from, say, the 40s would function. You see, with part of the mechanism, sort of an exploded view of what a switch board meant in those days. Kind of interesting to see the old mechanism exploded like this. Okay, and these are switchboards which are a bit older, but I think they might look familiar to some of you. Actually, very nice switchboards. I'm sorry for the reflection, but I'm standing in a building full of glass. You know, and glass reflects light from every direction, unfortunately. So yeah, these are still switchboards, you see. I mean, look at how this one is built. Yeah, I know the reflection is annoying, but These, if I'm not mistaken, are telegraph machines. Old-fashioned telegraph machines. Let me see. Yeah, these are all old-style telegraph machines. And look at that intricate little piece of equipment down there. I wonder what that could be. Well, if any of you know what this is, just let me know. I'm curious. This is what they call, I think, a ticket tape receiver. And over there, overhead, things that I have used in the past, you know, faxes. And old tape recorders. It's sort of arranged in a way that you see from the old to the new. So let's see. Okay, so that one down there is what they call an answering machine, and the brand is alibi phone. All right, on we go. Look at this, a telegraph in the form of a piano. Well, actually, this is, they call it a börsendrucker. But I think they use that for the stock market. Sort of a ticket tape generator for the stock market. Impressive. Old style connectors and switches and relays. Old style cables from, I would guess, the 1920s or the 1930s. Notice how they loomed the cables together, you see, with little cotton twine. And look at that flat cable. You know? That's a flat cable from, I would say, the 1920s. I mean, look how they built that back then. Those are power cables. Switches. Wow, this is a machine built by Siemens, but don't ask me what it does. Yeah, old style telegraphs. Morse keys. Old style Morse keys. Look at this. Look how intricate the mechanism is. They call that a Farbschreiber, but I think it's a ticket tape writer, so to speak. Okay, on we go. Power cables. And insulators. You see porcelain insulators in many different shapes and forms. There are also a few bakelite ones, but also a few glass ones like these. I suspect these are really old style insulators. Okay, on we go. Don't ask me what these are, but they look cool. Yeah, everywhere you find heat kits. A drum machine, old style. These are portable army telegraphs from the late 1800s. And apparently the German army experimented with portable telegraphs. Okay, moving on. So these are field telephones. Well, you see it with a little portable voltmeter and field telephones. And I think they were used during the First World War. Yes, indeed. These are all field telephones used during the First World War. Oh, another one of those clapper telephones. What's this? Okay, this was part of a wireless telephone network during the Second World War. This is a receiver for wireless telegraphy. If I'm not mistaken, from 1917. And it's built by Telefunken. There you see a depiction of it. Okay, moving on. Old Volksempfänger radios, but it's very dark here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but alright, so moving on. I think this is a sort of a transmitter. Look at these tubes. And if I'm not mistaken, these tubes are triodes. Well, not your regular size triode, obviously. Okay, one of these tubes is called an SRS 302. And the brand is WF. See?
1920er Jahre als Start des Fernsehens in Deutschland. Im Reichspostmuseum, dem heutigen Museum für Kommunikation Berlin, wird Geschichte geschrieben. Am 22. März 1935 startet der Fernsehsender Paul Nipkow in Berlin-Witzleben die Übertragung des weltweit ersten regelmäßigen Fernsehprogramms. Die im Museum gezeigten Bilder ziehen begeisterte Menschen in ihren Bann. In den 30er Jahren wird das Radio zum wichtigsten Instrument nationalsozialistischer Propaganda. Der Volksempfänger soll das Bild des Führers in alle deutschen Wohnzimmer und Herzen tragen. Radio hören und zu...
You're not going to believe this, guys, but this is the actual Enigma machine they used in the Second World War. You know, to encode messages. And ultimately it was revealed that they broke the code at Bletchley Park in England. But this is the actual Enigma machine. Not even that big. It's like a small typewriter almost. Okay, we're going into the Schatzkammer, or in other words, the treasure room. Let's see what's down there.
1864 sein Telefon der Deutschen Naturforscherversammlung vorführte. Trotz den Verzerrungen waren auch gesprochene Worte zu verstehen.
This is a very dark room.
In China hatte das Deutsche Reich eine Reihe wichtiger Handelsstützpunkte, weshalb die Reichspost dort mehrere Auslands...
Trying to find stuff which would be interesting for you guys, but remember, this is the Kommunikation Museum, so everything you see has to do somehow with communication. You know, either
Für Kinder sind Briefmarken oft umso wertvoller, je weitere Wege sie zurückgelegt haben. Sie würden die schlichte schwarze bayerische Einkreuzermarke von 1849
either by postcard or any other means.
Radioröhre, Fernsehröhre.
Okay, now we're talking. This is the iconograph.
Ein bisschen stärker, dass nichts anderes störe. Das war der Sinn der alten Liebenröhre.
A real iconograph.
Dass man es besser höre. Das war zu schaffen mit der Forreströhre. Dann sagte man sich, dass man es gut verstehe, wäre es am besten, wenn man es auch sähe. Das fand mit Zworikins Röhre statt. Da kriegst du in der Röhre, was?
Der österreichische Physiker Robert von Lieben suchte die Verzerrungen von Telegrafiesignalen zu beseitigen und entdeckte dabei die Verstärkungswirkung
early
von
triodes, triode tubes, and an old CRT.
Für die Bildröhre schuf der deutsche Physiker Ferdinand Braun schon 1897 die
and an
Grundlagen.
iconoscope.
Entscheidend
But
aber
look
war
at
die
this.
Weiterentwicklung der Braunschen Röhre
Look at
durch
how
Wladimir
old
Kosma-Zworykin,
it is.
einen Physiker russischer Herkunft, der in den Vereinigten Staaten lebte. Er konstruierte das Ikonoskop zur Bildabtastung und Speicherung und das Kineskop, die Wiedergaberöhre.
Da kriegst du in der Röhre, was?
Look at the electron gun. Look at that. A postcard radio.
Steht's hier prima, wunderschöner Sandstrand und blauer Himmel. Hoffentlich seid ihr wieder ganz...
Talk about something, you know, a novelty object. So you see, even in the 1930s, they could make novelty objects.
Karten nicht den Rang abgelaufen. Die älteste Postkarte der Welt, 1869 in Österreich geschrieben, ist eine Korrespondenzkarte. In knappen, nüchternen Worten.
Well, guys, this concludes our visit to the Museum of Communications in Berlin. Not exactly precisely what I had hoped from it, but not too bad either. Look at that. A robot. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Give me a thumbs up, share and subscribe.